Welcome to another night review, everyone. Today we have the 2020 VW Golf GTI, and this is the Autobahn trim, the top trim level for this GTI. And I'm going to show you what it's like on the outside, these adaptive lights, check out the interior, and we're even going to go for a test drive and see just how well these headlights perform. Now I want you to know I have a full daytime review of this as well, and I'll put the link to that in the description. But starting out right up front, so of course with this GTI you've got that red line running across the grille, the GTI emblem on there. These headlights are really slick looking as well. You've got a couple of LED daytime running lights running up underneath of the headlights. You have the high beam on the inside portion of the headlight, and when it's real dark, these headlights look pretty darn cool. You can see those individual daytime running lights, really looks nice, and a marker light LED right up under those. You can also see below we have these rakes that come up with this LED fog light, and those fog lights play a big role at night, and I'll show you those in a little bit as well. Overall, this front end with this tornado red paint looks great in my opinion, and those LED daytime running lights turn into these really well lit turn signals, so that looks pretty cool, especially at night as well. You can really differentiate those different lights. And then coming around the vehicle, this looks great in all lighting. This red paint really pops. You've got a really large blinker in that mirror as well, and you can even see that when you're driving from the inside of the mirror portion too. But overall, daytime, nighttime, this Golf looks great. And then as we come around to the back, take a look at these taillights. So you've got a unique design. It kind of reminds me of the front. I'll show you the brake light and the reverse light. You get LED license plate lights as well. And I'll give you another look at these taillights. Definitely look pretty nice. You know, nothing really like it, just definitely stands out as a GTI. The cargo area is not all that well illuminated. You basically just have one light, but it is still a fairly spacious area, especially when you fold all those seats down. I will definitely show you more in detail in the daytime. And a quick look at the back seat. So this is not really all that well illuminated. You have a couple of LED lights, which is nice. Those LED lights certainly look nice, but the back seat does not get that much illumination, but really, how needed is it? There are not any charging ports or plugins in the back seat there that need any illumination. When you open up the front doors, that's when you really get some of the lighting. You can see the red lighting on the door. You can see the red lighting on those door sills, and then the LED lights up front here that shine down on these front seats do a little bit better job than they do in the back. Now as we hop inside the interior, you'll see those mirror controls, those lock controls. The door handle is even backlit, illuminated, and then you've got this red running on the inside of the door. It does look really nice and makes for a nice interior, and your window switches down below are illuminated as well. Now here are our actual lighting controls. There's a little dial to control the interior lighting. You can turn on your fog lights by pulling that switch. You can turn on your fog lights by pulling the switch out, but it's nice to know those are illuminated. The steering wheel also has good illumination on all of the buttons for your cruise control, controlling your radio, so that is always good to see as well. The general lighting in here is kind of a white backlighting. It is a little bit of a sterile feel, but overall I like it. I think it fits the Golf well. Now taking a look at our gauge cluster, the gauges are well illuminated, both the left and the right, those physical gauges, very easy to read. It's a nice layout. And then in the middle, you can control this with your steering wheel. There's a whole bunch of information you can scroll through on here. You don't have the digital cockpit like you do on some other Volkswagens, but information is very plentiful on here. I showed you this before with the Golf last year, but you can pretty much have whatever you want to see on this screen. Then we have our main screen right here, which has a nice look. It does kind of have this default black screen. Even our volume and tuning knobs are backlit. You don't have actual physical buttons, but the touch sensitive buttons on the side are well illuminated. And I've gone through this a little bit in more detail on my last video with the last one, but you can customize the color, or not the color of the ambient lighting, but how bright the ambient lighting is on the door as you go through the vehicle settings. But it's a responsive screen. I like it, and it's kind of cool how those functions at the bottom will go away, and then as your hand gets close, they pop back up. Now there is some footwell lighting on each side, and we have the manual here, so we've got those 3 pedals. You can control the brightness of this footwell lighting. I have it on all the way bright, and it's still really not that bright, but I like to have some interior lighting. All the controls for your AC, we actually have dual zone on this Autobahn trim. That's all illuminated, all the buttons that are necessary, even the little dials, so that's good. And then here we've got our start stop button, drive mode button, traction control, and then our parking assist and radar sonar over there. There is a 12-volt power outlet right here that's not illuminated, and then a USB right there that's not backlit illuminated either. As you saw in the back, up front, we also get nice bright LED lights. They definitely shine down a nice beam of light right here. And we have an automatic dimming mirror. And you got a regular bulb inside that glove box. And of course, that passenger side still gets that nice red LED strip. It'd be nice if there was a little bit more ambient lighting or a little bit brighter, but I still like even what we get in here. Now as we turn the lights on, they are adaptive. So they do a little dance for us, a little up and down, a little side to side, let us know that they're ready. So that's pretty cool. Now I am a fan of these lights. So these are the low beams. We've got a good beam pattern. High beams, it's kind of narrow, but seems to do a good job. These get an acceptable rating from the IIHS, which is not the best, but I think they do good. The biggest knock on them is their distance. Turn the fog lights on, you're gonna get some immediate width out of these lights, and then I'll show you the adaptive function once we get rolling. All right, y'all, we are on a test drive in this 2020 Golf GTI, and we're gonna take a look at how well these adaptive headlights do, check out the cornering function. In fact, I'm turning now and you can see it illuminated off to the side, and then same thing over there, you get some illumination right next to the vehicle, which is fantastic. We'll see how well they do on some real dark roads as well. And if you want to see a real in-depth review of just how it drives, I have a full review with this and with the automatic as well. So of course the Golf is certainly fun to drive. There's no mistaking that. It's zippy, it's fun. It is front wheel drive, which does take away a little bit of the fun, but maybe it kind of adds to it a little bit too. And it's got a really nice little sound to it as well. Now this road is obviously well illuminated. We'll get on some dark roads here in just a second. But this rear view mirror is automatic dimming, which is nice. These side mirrors though are not automatic dimming, so if you're looking for that, you don't have it. The inside of the Golf is a nice place to be. You do have white backlighting pretty much on everything, but the red on the doors and the footwell lighting is nice. It's a nice place, but I'm really excited about that Mark 8 Golf with all the ambient lighting colors that you got. Now we're just about to get on a dark road here with the Golf, where we can really see how well these do. And even at higher speeds, you've got the cornering light. So that's great, that's very welcome. I've got the automatic high beams on as well. And those just turned on. They do a nice job. These certainly aren't the best high beams that I've ever driven, but they're doing a decent job. We'll see how it does around this corner. I'm going to turn the high beams off. Cornering visibility is good. It's kind of hard to tell right now because it's so wet outside too. And of course it's wet with this and my daytime review. Now there's an oncoming car. I should have turned the high beams on. Turn the high beams back on, automatic. They've got good distance. They don't have a ton of width to them, but the immediate lights do have some width out into the ditches, which is one thing I really look for. I'm gonna turn the high beams off. Fog lights right up front you definitely see, and of course when it is foggy, I'm sure you'll have even better vision. Headlights are doing a nice job. Now the low beams are definitely a little bit limited with distance. Turn those high beams on, and you've got some straight shoot. When you're in town, these do a nice job. I really can't complain with that. Some of these corners haven't been as good as I thought they would be, but nonetheless, these headlights still do a nice job. They get an acceptable rating from the IIHS, and I was honestly expecting a little bit better. Now I just turned the high beams off. I still have good visibility. I'm happy with these lights, and I think that they look great too. Just the aesthetic of them is excellent. High beams on again, and you got good distance with those high beams, definitely. And I'm slowing down, and it's with my blinker on, you can see off to the left just how much lighting there is over there. Now if I signal off to the right, that lights up right there. So I can see if I'm gonna take a dark corner. That is excellent. That's probably my favorite thing. Off to the left again, it lights up that whole area. High beams just kicked on. The Golf is so fun to drive. High beams are still on, and they just turned off because we have some people off in the far distance and a couple street lights, so they're more on the cautious side with this, which I personally prefer, just so you aren't blinding anybody. One thing you guys can hear right now probably is just how much road noise gets in the Golf. That's just one negative with this car. But with the low beams on, I wish the distance was a little bit better. They still have a nice beam pattern. I'm not totally blinded on one side of the road. And I have not had anybody flash me, so that's a big bonus too, and that's something else that the IIHS looks at, is just how much glare there is for oncoming traffic. And the high beams just kicked back on. It was definitely delayed after that car went by, and they just turned off as soon as this car just crested the hill. So the automatic high beams did a nice job. They were a little on the cautious side, but really I'm happy with those, and I like the adaptive function. I like the cornering lights. The cornering lights on here are fantastic. That alone is excellent, especially in town or some real dark areas. High beams just kicked on again, and then they just turned off. So that guy ahead of me might have thought I was flashing, but that's gonna go ahead and wrap things up for this Golf GTI night review. Be sure to check out the daytime review. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time.